ready to go. They also have many options such as ham, turkey, frozen sides, and desserts, which provide a complete meal. Catering is also available for small
10 seconds.
or large gatherings. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 812-941-9426, or visit them 3602 North Cape Court, Suite 23 in New Albany.
Welcome into the Ticket Punchers here on 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, Big X Sports Radio. Also live on the Real Spiel Podcast YouTube page, the Big X Sports YouTube page, and our Ticket Punchers Twitter page. Glad to have you guys joining us both virtually and on the radio. And shout out to the podcast listeners as well. Already got some people in the chat chiming in on the show. And of course, Curtis, we let our listeners know to get in on our GameDay Men's Health text line at 502-414-1450. A lot we're going to be getting into and discussing as it is the first show of the week. Haven't been on since last week, so we've got to recap the weekend, look into what we had some punches in on over the weekend, look into how the NBA matchups have gone in the playoffs, of course. Some excitement there. Donovan Mitchell breaking records, Lakers getting swept. AJ Mitchell looking like the best player on the floor in the damn series. So many different interesting talking points for the NBA playoffs Curtis and I are going to be getting into. And then, of course, we're going to be giving out some plays and discussing what you guys have for us in our text line and on our chat. Curtis Phillips was who was mentioned, our co-host here on the show, a.k.a. Philly Picks. Curtis, how are you doing, sir? How was the long weekend?
Can you hear me, Roman?
Can hear you great. You sound good.
All right, yeah. Had a good weekend. As far as punches go, we did well for our punches. Go 1-3 Friday, but Saturday through Monday we go 3-1 each of those 3 days. So finally feeling like we're getting our rhythm back in May. But yeah, overall had a good weekend. Ready to get this week started. How you doing today, Roman?
Ready to get this week started as well. I had a pretty good weekend, eventful weekend. Punched some tickets, hit some tickets, missed some tickets, but that's how it goes on the weekends, right? When the purpose is having fun, you're just going out there and trying to do the things you know and see if you can make some money with it, right? And that's what we go out there and do. But my Lakers didn't get the job done, Philly, and that was. I didn't think they were going to win the series, but I didn't think they were going to get swept. And when you feel like there's a chance in each of the 4 games, it just kind of makes it even tougher, kind of stomaching that your team really did get swept when it felt like, you're up at the half in 2 of the last 2 games in the series, have the lead in the first 2 games in the series. And it's just tough because I think that the play style works, but it was limited. There was a reason why we played closer first halves, right? You're doubling on Shea, you're scrambling on defense, you're playing such a what is that? What am I looking for here? Like a draining type of defensive philosophy just to stop Shea, that you don't really have your legs underneath you with your core guys by the time you get to the end of these games. And they do. They have the depth, and they didn't have to do that defensively game in and game out throughout the series, to where it was easy sailing for them in these fourth quarters, unfortunately for us. So that's kind of really what it came down to. Felt like it was too evenly matched, two evenly performing teams for 3 quarters, and then they would just take off because they had the energy and the depth. And that's part of it, right? You don't have Luka Doncic. You can only get so much out of LeBron. Reeves has 1 bad game, and boom, you get swept. It's that easy, Curtis. Outside of that, it's crazy to see what Donovan Mitchell did last night. Exciting to see what this Wolves Spurs series can look like. What has been the most, not exciting part, but what's been your favorite part of the playoffs so far, Curtis?
Yeah, for me, I love the way the Timberwolves, we see it year in and year out. They might limp through the regular season, but we see in playoffs, it's go time for them guys. obviously back-to-back conference finals, and we see them competing real hard with the Spurs. That's been a very fun series. Maybe I think the best series so far throughout both rounds thus far. So we'll get Game 5 tonight. We know that's a crucial game in any series. A lot of teams that go to win Game 5 tend to win the series. So, but that's been quite interesting. We saw Wemby get ejected. Emotions kind of got out of hand last game. I think he's gonna go crazy tonight. We'll get into that later. I don't have an official punch, but I do have a jab with him. But yeah, I think the T Wolves and Spurs series has been very interesting. Something that's surprised me the most is how well the Knicks are playing. This is a team like we should have been seeing this all year from the Knicks, but just been a lot of inconsistency. And now you're without OG Anunoby, and that hasn't seemed to stop you at all. They're firing on all cylinders, both sides of the court of the ball, Roman. So the Knicks have been very surprising, and I think behind the Spurs, they're right behind the Spurs in a team that I think can give the Thunder trouble if they was to make the finals game. But yeah, those two
Yeah.
pop off for me.
The Knicks, I can't believe that they just handled the 76ers like that after defeating the Celtics in the fashion that they did.
Yeah.
Knowing that the play style out there can be so iffy for them, right?
Mhm.
They're still getting it done. They're still getting it done defensively. Once they fill out a series after a couple games, you know that they're going to start having it defensively, and they've seemed to be the team to beat as the Eastern Conference has kind of unfolded, which is not how I thought it was going to go. Shout out to the Knicks. About time, I really feel like we should be saying.
Yeah.
Curtis, let's go over the punches. You gave over your Friday record. I gave out the let's see here. Let's go pull them up. Let's get the official here. I think we had a full NBA set of punches on Friday. Let's get these pulled up. Yes.
Oh,
so
and while you're doing that,
go ahead, Curtis.
Oh no, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just gonna, cause I know I've been trying to get my April record out there. I've been tallying it up all month for May, but we went 55 and 63, and I know on paper for the officials that doesn't seem great, but we also did hit a lot of plus money jabs with the no home runs and home runs. So although the official punch record doesn't seem like it's all that well, we came up a lot of units in April. I know it's a -8 official punch record, but we did come up a lot of money if y'all tailed the jabs and whatnot. So 55 and 63 was the my official April record. But
that's a lot of punches, Curtis. You were sending them out. I mean, when you hit 55 bets, even you can be in the negative with how many of those are plus money. I mean, the record can be below 500, and the money can still be in the negative when you're talking about that many, and it's still not far off right there. And you're hit a lot of plus money. Some days you're going undefeated as well, which if you're parlaying some of these picks, those are days you profited. So love that. Glad you were able to get that. Makes sense if you're giving out that many punches. Why it's going to take a minute to get them all accumulated through the notebook and the spreadsheet and whatnot. I go 1-3 on Friday's punches. We had the Randall over, doesn't cover there. He played soft in that one on Friday. Yes, they ended up bouncing back on Sunday, and he was better, but still didn't get the scoring from the Friday game that we needed to out of him. Really, he wasn't all that great on Sunday, but the performance overall was just a little bit better. I had the Knicks 76ers over. We don't hit that one either. 76ers money line, but we do cover the over 216 in the Spurs Timberwolves. So 1-3 on the Friday night punches from the NBA there. We didn't end up giving any out over the weekend. Curtis had a busy weekend. Unfortunately, weren't able to post any punches, but we're going to get on that and make sure we give in some punches out every day while we'll end the NBA playoffs into June. Let's get into what we've got on the slate for tonight, because I know you may have this is a full late MLB slate. full late MLB slate. Didn't mean to rhyme right there, but there's a lot of late games in the slate tonight, Curtis. I figured you had some good punches there. We do only have one NBA game on the slate for tonight with the Timberwolves and Spurs, as you mentioned earlier. WNBA been getting started, and I've been trying to, I know some teams, it's only 2 games played for some teams, and some teams have only played once, but we're still trying to pay attention, see who's been proved, who's consistent, because some of those lines are just they're super close, and there's going to be some blowouts early in the season. Trying to figure those out, so we're going to try to pay attention to those, Curtis. But talk us through the MLB for tonight. First, give us a Reds update. How are you feeling about the Reds as of today? We're going to ask you every day. What's the Reds update of the day? Who are you feeling for a Reds dinger tonight? And then give us your official punches in the MLB tonight.
All right, Roman. Reds update. So we finally got back in the winning column. We've won 2 straight now. We beat the Astros the other day, 5-0. That was Sunday. Or I'm sorry, both games were against the Astros, excuse me. So we won our first series in quite a while. And we got the Nationals. This is a series we absolutely need. Like I mentioned last week, we are still currently last in the division. We're tied for last in the division. That we'd be winning the AL Central and the AL West right now, but we can't worry about that. We got to worry about the teams in division. So we got to take control what we can control. So what we need to do this week is beat the Nationals in that series, and then we'll have an in-state rival versus the Guardians this weekend. So be lovely to win both of those series. But I do like a few different dingers in our game. Well, I'm only taking one. I'm taking Sal Stewart for a dinger tonight. He doesn't have history against Miles Michaelis, but we know Michaelis gives up a lot of hard contact. 4 different Reds in the starting lineup today have went yard versus Miles Michaelis. So I think we can have a ton of success tonight. I like our team total over 4.5. It's a little juiced, and you never know how my Reds are going to come out, but I do lean that heavily tonight. So yeah, hopefully my Reds can get back in the groove this week. So there's a little update on that front.
Love it.
As far as my official punches goes, I'm gonna start off in college baseball. I have one in that in college baseball. It starts at 6 p.m., so I'm gonna get that out real fast. I feel like I haven't dropped one in a while on the live show for college baseball. So, but I really like Georgia Tech minus the 2.5 runs at minus 128. Mercer coming into town. This is actually the last week before the postseason for college baseball. So Georgia Tech facing a Mercer team, which is not bad. They have a 39-13 record, but strength of schedule hasn't been that great. So I expect the Georgia Tech team, which I think is the best offense in the whole nation, to take care of their business and win by 3 runs. They've been a dominant home team, 30-3 at home. And like I said, one of the best, I think the best offense in the whole nation. So I think a team like Mercer, who your toughest opponent you faced is Oregon State, and I think Georgia Tech is a tier above Oregon State. I think they should take care of business at home. So Georgia Tech minus a 2.5 at minus 128 will be my first official punch. And then back to the MLB. We're going to be on Rays money line. I feel like this has been the Rays period.
I should have been on Rays yesterday. Jeez.
Yeah, they I think they sold us, what was that, Friday? But I'm going back to the well here. Rays money line been the most profitable bet the last two plus weeks in the MLB, 16-2 their last 18 games. So they're still riding hot. We're going to keep riding with them. Shane McClanahan on the mound for them. The Rays have won 5 of his 7 starts. He just faced the Blue Jays last week. And yeah, this is just something I got to keep taking at this price, a low price like this at minus 116. So we're rocking with the Rays money line as our second official punch. Third, we'll go another money line bet. We're going to take the Twins on the money line at minus 108. Bailey Ober, not my favorite pitcher to back, but he's done well at home this year. 3-0 record at home with a 3.2 ERA. Marlins on the other side are throwing Yuri Perez, who has a 7.23 ERA on the road. And then, the Twins have won 4 of Bailey Ober's last 5 starts at home. So I like the Twins to get it done. And it's our favorite day, Roman. It is Dinger Tuesday.
Let me hear them. This is what I've been waiting for, Philly. I got my pen ready. I'm about to write these down.
Yep. So we had our first one with Sal Stewart in the Reds Nationals game. Perfect hitting weather in Cincinnati. I got Sal Stewart at plus 370. Miles Michaelis he's giving up damage to both righties and lefties. 301 average to lefties, 279 average to righties. I think a few different Reds go yard, but I'm gonna go with the heavy hitter in Sal Stewart at a very good price. Second, we're gonna take Byron Buxton at plus 285 in the matchup I just mentioned with the Twins and Marlins, going against Yuri Perez, who's been terrible on the road. I use my profit boost with Buxton, so I got the plus 285 up to plus 430. And I thought this was a cool stat. I mean, if you've been taking Buxton on Dinger Tuesdays, you've been very profitable. He's hit a home run in 4 straight Tuesdays, and there's only been 5 Tuesdays in the season. So he's hit a home run in 4 of the 5 Tuesdays. 2 of his last 3 games, he's hit a home run, so he's riding hot. We're riding with Byron Buxton. And then third, we're going to rock with Vinny Pasquantino. He's at plus 394. And he's going up against Eric Fetty for the White Sox. This game has the second most projected home runs on the board. And he's already got a career home run versus Eric Fetty. Fetty has also allowed 8 home runs on the season. So I think Vinny in great hitting weather at this price can go yard. So Byron Buxton, Vinny Pasquantino, and Sal Stewart. I'm rocking with all 3 of those to hit a home run. So
I like it. I've got 2 plays in the MLB, Curtis. Are those your 3 dingers?
Yep, those are my 3 dingers and my officials.
I love those. We'll be on all of those plays. We're gonna maybe play a little parlay on a few of those as well. I've got 2 in the MLB, Curtis. You know I rock with the pitchers. Brian Wu on the mound tonight for the Mariners, going up against the Astros, who have just been a struggling set of bats. They've been an up and down set of bats more times than not this season, and I think Brian Wu is going to get back to what we know of him. In this outing, we've taken him for 6+ strikeouts at minus 136. Second MLB punch tonight, Curtis, is going to be Mackenzie Gore, who got hit around a little bit his last time out against the Yankees in the midst of their win streak. I think that's we'd seen him go 5+ into the 6th inning a few times already. I think Mackenzie Gore bounces back off of that performance after the Yankees for the Rangers tonight, going up against the Diamondbacks, who can be a pretty hit or miss set of bats as well. A few of those guys will swing at a lot of stuff, kind of ideal for a strikeout pitcher like Gore. He's been he's kind of changing in the midst of changing a little bit, but he can throw the steam still. So I expect him to get to that K mark tonight, 5+ at minus 168. In the NBA tonight, Curtis, we're on Naz Reid, over 11.5 points at minus 136. Naz, let me see here. I have this noted down here. Of course, now I can't find it. I'm pretty sure he's covered this in every single game in the series already. One game in which he didn't. Game 2 is the only game he hadn't covered this mark. Close games, they need him in the game to stretch the floor over Gobert, right? The defense and the switchability you get out of Naz Reid makes up for what you lack in the rim protection department, potentially with him on the floor with Gobert out there compared to Gobert out there. So I think we've seen it enough. I mean, he's played 30+ minutes his last 2 games, gone 18 points, 15 points. Really could tease this up to like 13.5 for plus money, Curtis. But we're going to take the 11.5 at minus 136 on Naz Reid tonight. And I'm on the Timberwolves plus 9.5 official. Not a jab. Lines moved. Actually, the lines moved to 10.5. So we're going to go ahead and retake the 10.5 from the wager we've taken earlier. We'll go ahead and take that plus 10.5 tonight. I think Timberwolves keep it close, even in San Antonio with what they've seen in this series. They should have enough to go out there and find the offense to keep the points on the board. So I'm rocking with the plus 10.5 from the Wolves.
I like it. I like all of those.
What else you got for us tonight?
That's all I got for officials. A strong jab that I might turn official is the Wembanyama rebounds. Was 12.5 at minus 140. It's went up to 13.5 at plus money. I'm so tempted. I love it. Coming off of a game where he just got ejected, we saw the emotion after he got ejected. He's clapping, shaking all his teammates' hands, and I think he just comes out with a vengeance. He's already been, rebounding the heck out of the ball. 15. This series alone, he's had 15 in the first 3 games, and obviously he got ejected the game 4, but he had 4 rebounds in 12 minutes. So he's been active, really active on the glass. So I'm probably gonna drop that as official. So stay tuned on the keep your notifications up on the Twitter page, on the X page. So that'll probably
Do you like
official.
any MLB outcomes that you maybe not going to wager, but just when you look at the two teams, the two pitchers, and how the bats have been for those two sides, that you wouldn't be surprised if there was a winner in?
Yeah, so to your Woo point, I was strongly looking at the Mariners minus 1.5 earlier. Saw it at plus money. That plus money is long gone. I've seen minus 115 and minus 120 at a lot of places, so I'm backing off that now. But that was a strong lean this morning. I was also leaning heavily towards the Angels and Guardians over. A little better hitting condition than it was last night. 2 not so great pitchers on the mound in Slade Ciccone and Urena for the Angels. So I was leaning to the over 8.5 on that. I know that game tips off in about 20 minutes. So those are 2 strong leans. And I also lean to the over in that Reds Nationals. Great hitting weather as well. Miles Michaelis on the mound. Always love to fade him in some sort of way. So those were all those were all strong leans of mine.
Kareem says here in the chat, or Kerry says here in the chat, somebody going to offer. You think the Lakers re-sign Rui this season? I think so. I think Rui's played his way into a deal. Now there's probably going to be somebody that offers him a little bit more, but I think Luka coming back, Rui knowing the role he's going to have, if it's $2 or $3 million, I think he would probably stay. If that's what it comes down to, but we're really just going to have to see. We don't know. The Lakers only made a handful of good decisions here recently, so going to still need them to make some more. Got just a couple minutes before we get out of here, Curtis. I like those leans that you've got. I don't have anything that I'm leaning too hard on. We didn't address the NHL for tonight. We do have Sabres, Sabres. I'm going to call them that. Sabres, Canadians, Ducks, Golden Knights tonight. In these, I like the Golden Knights to get the W, and then I like the under 6.5. I feel like there's finally going to be a good defensive matchup in Sabres Canadians here tonight. Got to slow up a little bit in one of these games, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. But outside of that, nothing too crazy that I want to give out as an official jab. I am going to probably ladder the Nas points because 12.5 at plus 100, knowing he's going to probably play 30-plus minutes tonight if the game's close. I like that money there. Curtis, if I'm being honest, Matt Childress, producer back in the studio for us. Appreciate him having us on the airways, making sure we look good and sound good. He has Rudy Gobert, 10-plus rebounds tonight at minus 107, I believe. Probably has moved to like minus 120 at this point. I like Rudy's rebounds at 10. I think he can get to the 10 mark in his limited minutes that he kind of plays based on the matchup. So just a couple of extra plays there for you guys as well. Curtis, this is going to wrap us up here on the Ticket Punchers. I don't think we've got anything else we need to add. You think the Timberwolves get the job done tonight?
Not so sure that they win, but I'm with you. I do think they cover. Hasn't mattered with whether they're at home or on the road. They've play well wherever they're at. So I think they can keep it close, even with Wemby coming back.
I think they can as well. There's no reason for them to not be able to. I think this is going to be one of those grinded out slugfest kind of a game. So we're just going to have to see. I'm expecting a fun one there as well. Shout out to Kerry and John Quar in the chat. John Quar says that game 5, man. Yeah, game 5 is critical. Game 5 is critical. The most pivotal in a tied series. But this is going to wrap us up on the Ticket Punchers. Shout out to you guys listening in, tuning in, giving your thoughts on the show, to our YouTube viewers as well. And then, of course, we love our podcast listeners. Didn't get any look in on the GameDay Mens Health text line. There was no text when I first looked. Let's make sure we didn't miss out on anything. It doesn't look like we did. So, Curtis, without further ado,
let's go punch those tickets.
We'll be back tomorrow, 2:30 to 5, or 5:30 to 6, right here on the Big X.
It is Sophia and overseas strength, okay? Uncontrolled.
The Cats.
All right. We're out of here.
6'11" University.
Yes, sir. Let's go punch them.